Okay, I am using two mics here. I know this looks very crazy. Let me see. I'm getting my lighting and all of that together here right now. Let's see. So that there's not like a big shadow on me. And I'll figure out the microphone thing in a minute here. Okay, so just give me a moment while I'm trying to figure this out here. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna leave that there. And hopefully you guys can hear me. And I'm gonna put this one here. So between the two, you guys should hear me. This is so funny. Anyway, let's see if I get a good, perfect kind of angle here. Let's see. All right, hopefully you guys can kind of sort of see me here. Let's see. Okay, I think we'll do that. I think as long as I'm here. Okay, so I'm actually broadcasting on two different devices on two different platforms right now. So I'm on our Samba Tree channel and I'm also on our Samba Journeys channel as well. So I'm on two different channels right now. So this, I love the trees, but the tree got to have his hand in it. So let me see. I know y'all can see me. It just looks kind of weird. Anyway, let's see. All right. Well, we're just gonna go with this, I guess, because ain't nothing I could do with it. All right, so welcome to another live broadcast, you guys. Like I said again, if you're looking at me and you're like, why is he looking that way? It's because I'm looking at two different devices. So you're gonna see my eyes dart from one device to the other. Okay, so that's what you're gonna see. But welcome to our live broadcast. This is Samba Tree in the Garden, and this is just our way of starting the week right. This is how we're supposed to start our week in a very peaceful way, right? Looking at, we'll talk about some of the more current things that's going on or whatever, but also what are some natural solutions to the things that many of us are facing. I'm going to also, share my own little personal story, something I'm kind of working through myself and all of that. And maybe some of y'all will find something, some common thread in that. Don't know, but I'm just feeling the need to share it, and I will. And also, we're going to talk about at the end, if you stay to the end, we will be doing a free giveaway. So I know for some of you guys, you like to be silent and just kind of like just be in the whatever. But listen, if you want this free giveaway, you're gonna need to make sure that you're here, that you're present in the in the chat. Because if you're not in the chat, you ain't gonna win it. Okay, and so that's how that goes. So anyway, so glad that you guys are here, and let me know in the chat that you can hear me before I continue. Like I said, I got this rope, these two blocks under my neck. And the reason why I got these blocks under my neck is because, again, I'm using two different cameras. I'm still trying to figure that out as far as how to merge it onto one when I'm doing it outside. When I'm inside, it's easy to broadcast. It's just when I'm outside, it's a little different. So, anyway, just I'll give me a moment here. I'm just waiting to see if anybody will chime in. Let me know that you can hear me just fine because we had this problem before, and on one platform you couldn't hear me at all. So let me know if you could, please be so kind. If you can let me know in the chat that you can hear me, just hit a one or something like that. Let me know. Um, Someone's saying sound is going in and out. Okay, sound is going in and out. How about now? Can you hear me now? Let me see. I'm just gonna hold both of these up here. Can you hear me? How does it sound now? How am I sounding? Let me know in the chat how my sound is when I hold it up that way. Let me know. Let me know. When I'm holding the microphone up this way, let me know how does this sound? Can you hear me? And then I can continue. All right. Someone said yes. I'm assuming that means you can hear me fine. Um, but yeah. So let me see. I'm looking at both here. Both of them are on. Okay. So I'm going to continue because, like I said, I'm not, if you're not responding, I only got one person or two people saying that they can hear me now, three people. Okay, good. So we're just going to go with that. Okay. So, anyway, glad that you guys are here. Like I said, if you see my eyes going back and forth, it's because I'm broadcasting simultaneously on two different platforms here. Okay. So, the first someone says still in and out. Okay, so I'm doing the best that I can here. So hopefully, it'll get better as we go on. Okay, so I know this is so weird holding these two things. Hold on, let me see if I can do something here. Hold on. I've seen someone do this before. Okay, so I'm gonna hold one up like this, and then the other one like this. That's how I'm gonna do it. Okay, so I'll just do that. Okay, so the first thing is that first of all, thank you to all of our great customers over on Samba Tree. We really appreciate all of you guys. Like we said, we treat you guys exactly like we treat our family because you exactly are family. What's someone saying here? Okay, so I'm holding it up as close as I can do it. If that's not working, we're gonna have to just work with it, okay? But as long as you can make out what I'm saying, that's how we're gonna do it, okay? So yeah, that's the best I can do, unfortunately. Okay. Um, let's see, what am I looking at here? Okay, so real quick, really appreciate each and every one of you guys. First things first, orders are going out this week. We have that snowstorm really backed some things up, unfortunately. What happened was because we're shipping out teas. Teas are starting to go out tomorrow, and then the citrus fruit will be going out later this week. Let's see. Um, yeah, there's nothing I can do more with the microphones. Okay, I'm doing. I appreciate all the input that y'all are giving because that's exactly what y'all giving me. That's why I've been asking, but I just don't know what else I can do. Okay, so let me get this microphone straight now first. Okay. Okay, so I don't know. Let's start off with this one. Can you hear me? Just give me a definitive yes or no. Okay, just give me a definitive yes or no. Can you hear me? All right. Just give me a definitive yes or no. All right. Just waiting right now. I'm just looking at the screen right now. Okay. So, yes, you can hear me. Okay. Someone's saying they cannot hear me at all, or you cannot hear me. So, just a definitive yes or no. Can you hear me? Not so much the quality of it. I just want to know, can you hear me? I'm just asking for a definitive yes or no. Okay. Don't be scared. I ain't going to bite you. All right. Let's see. Okay, everything's turned up. Let's try it again. Can you hear me? I just need a definitive yes or no. Let's try it again. Someone keeps saying it's in and out. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Can you hear me? Yes or no? And then we can get started, okay? Can you hear me? I'm going to keep talking for a minute here and just let me know. Can you hear me? And I'm also simultaneously broadcasting over on Samba Tree. Okay, so you could check me out over on Samba Tree. Check me out over there as well and see if you can hear me over there. If you can hear me better over on Samba Tree, then go over to Samba Tree YouTube page. All right. If the volume isn't the best for you on this platform that you're listening to me now, and you're saying it's going in and out, just go to Samba Tree, all right, and then you can hear me over there as well. All right, so just go to Samba Tree. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. If you cannot hear me on this platform, that's okay. Just go over to Samba Tree YouTube page where I'm simultaneously broadcasting there as well. All right. And what we'll do is all of this that we're doing right now, I will make sure that I'll do the best I can to see if I can download the video, and then I can re-upload it, and then we'll edit it there. Okay, so that way you can skip over all of this testing that we're doing right now. Okay. All right. Really appreciate everyone's input. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue. All right. So for those that are just joining us, welcome again. If you, it's very weird because I'm using two different microphones and I'm on two different devices. So this is usually I'm used to just having one microphone and that's it. But in this case, this is the setup that I have to go to work with. Okay, so that's what we're working on. All right. So anyway, let's go on. Let's see. Give me a moment here. Okay, so one more time, orders are going out, and we appreciate everyone's patience. For those of you who are still waiting on orders, orders are slowly going out. Okay, and so this week we have going out are the teas. The teas are going out. They're being packed as I speak. The teas are going. Well, they're being frozen. Sorry about that. They're actually being frozen now because once we're ready to put them in the boxes, they have to be frozen. So when we put them in the boxes, so they're going to be going out this week, starting tomorrow. All right, you'll probably see a tracking number being issued to you tonight in your email. So just make sure you check your emails. Make sure you're checking your what you call it, your all your folders, because it's not just us, it's a lot of small businesses that use certain email services. What happens is that the emails sometimes get lost in some of the other folders like spam and all of that. And so what ends up happening is we'll have people that'll say, hey, I'm waiting for you guys to let me know something, and we're like, we've been communicating with you. And what's been happening is, unfortunately, those emails will end up locked in in a different folder. So make sure you are checking your folders, okay? All your folders, because we are communicating. So yeah, so the delay with the teas and the citrus had to do with the recent snowstorm that we've had. We learned one thing we learned from last year, when we were shipping this stuff out, was that when we shipped it during a storm, when we were shipping during the storm, um, there were delays due to the storm. And what was happening was, by the time it got to our family members, our customers, in some cases, those teas went bad. And so it created even more delays, and it cost even more for us to replace those with shipping, with product, and all of that. So this time we said, okay, if it snows again, we're going to need to hold back a few days and make sure everything's cleared out on the other end, so we can make sure that it gets there in a timely manner. So those things are in fact going out. Okay, so that's the great thing. And so again, we really appreciate your patience. Make sure you check your emails, and that's for the teas, that's for the citrus, and anything else that you may be waiting on or whatever. Make sure that you check your emails, because we are communicating. All right, so just wanted to talk about that. Now, and this is just another friendly reminder. At the end of this broadcast, we have a special giveaway that we're going to have. So make sure you stick on, because that's going to be fun. We absolutely love giving away things to people, and so stick around for that. We'll be doing that soon. All right. Are you gonna come in?
Just saying hey. We packing, 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 packing.
Okay. All right. So give me just a moment here. Look, this is the news desk here. This is nature's news desk. So give me a moment here. Let's see. So talked about that. We talked about the gift card. Let's see what else. All right. So the promo that we're running right now today, we're running a promo over on now for those of you who are just joining us over here on Samba Journeys. If you're noticing, if you're having any audio issues, if you can barely hear me, just jump on over to our Samba Tree YouTube page, and it should sound fine over there. Okay, so we're just yeah. Some of the technical stuff here, I don't know, but we're doing the best we can on this end. All right. So anyway, so what we got going on right now is two things. We got a special promo going on right now, 15% off, 15% off of our combo capsules, 15% off. I'm checking these messages here. Okay, 15% off our combo capsules, and capsule, it has sea moss, bladderwrack, and burdock root, all of that combined in one capsule. You're going to be very hard pressed to find something like that. And this is the best time in the world, quite honestly, for you if you are wanting to recharge your health. You know, we just made it out of January. Now we're in February. It's so important for you to make sure that your health is going right along with nature. And so these capsules, I'm just going over this real quick. I'm checking these messages here too. um, okay, so they're saying that the audio on one is not working. Okay, all right. So yeah, just go over to Samba Tree. Just go over to Samba Tree, and we'll just work it on there. Okay, give me just a moment here. Give me just a moment. Let me figure out something here. Just sorry, y'all. Okay, all right. I just restarted the both microphones. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. So anyway, thank y'all for your patience. I really appreciate it. It's just whatever, and I'm gonna get to something in a little bit here. But basically, go to if you make sure you're on our email address because we break it all down. The why sea moss, bladderwrack, and burdock root is so very important for you to have in your diet, particularly right now. Sorry, y'all. It is so very important for you to have in your diet right now. And it's a great way to boost up your immune system, to bring things back in order, because during the winter months, a lot of it, we're not getting enough sunlight. That's just how it is. And so so sunlight, when we think about the foods that we're eating, a lot of our foods that we're eating, particularly this Western diet, we're not getting enough minerals in our food. So this is why these are called supplements. These are supplemental to the things that we're not getting in our normal diets. And so this is just one of many ways you can get those extra minerals, those extra vitamins into your diet. And so these capsules, like I said again, you're not going to find too many people carrying capsules that have all three of these things all bundled together. But that's what we're doing here at Samba Tree. So make sure you check that out. 15% off on that. And also, we have a 30% off promo going on right now with our bamboo oil product. We still got quite a few of those left. This is part of our Made by Moss collection that we have. By the way, we've been getting emails from many of you guys asking when we're going to replenish that. That is coming soon. So we got that. That is a product line that we developed, or actually, it was our daughter. She developed it, and she did the whole thing from start to end. And we're running a promo on the bamboo oil that has sea moss in it. Rather, that's 30% off. So you can head on over when you go to Samba Tree and you check it out. That you don't, I don't think you need a code or anything like that. It will automatically be discounted right at checkout when you do that. Okay. All right. So that's that. So let me put this away here, and then I could talk on the other things I could talk about on here. It's just the administrative stuff is just at first it's between that and then when you got your technical stuff acting up, it can be a bit annoying, but whatever. So we got that going. All right, so all that's done. So anyway, okay, so we got all of that done. Okay, so let me get into a few things this week, some of the things that I came across this week. And no, I'm not doing any hand signs for those that are coming in. I'm just holding the microphone, two different microphones in my hand. Okay, so this week there's been a few things that came up. All right. So first thing is I was going through the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. I was actually up kind of late last night because, being out here in a desert climate, if you're not, putting enough humidity in the air, guess what? Your nose is going to get dry. And guess what? Yours truly, my nose got dry. And so it's just, it was aggravating. So I was up. And so what am I going to do? After I finished blowing my nose and all of that, I went. I was just going through a little bit of those Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Now you may say, what does got to do with health? Hang in with me because this is really something. In a video that he did, this is an interview he did with Steve Bannon, and in the video he was saying he said this. This is not word for word, but this is the gist of what he was saying. He was saying that he said black people are not less intelligent than white people. He said, no, that is not true at all. Now, the example that he gave was a very crude one. It was a very crude example. But I want you to try to listen to this example he gave with a different set of ears, okay? What he said was, he said, black people are not less intelligent than white people. He said, what it is, he said, if I were to go into the jungle and turn it off, turn off the offense, turn it off, just follow me because in any other way, I would not be sharing this. But there's something in here I want you to see. He said, if I was in the jungle, he said, the one that will most likely get eaten by the lion would be me. He said, because Africans, they are more accustomed to what goes on in the jungle. He was talking Africans now. And so he says, so intelligence is something that it's not, intelligence manifests itself in many ways, and it really depends on the environment that you're in. Now, like I said, if we're listening to that through our offensive ears, our nervous system that can sometimes be programmed to be offended, we'll be like, in the jungle. See, you're trying to say that all black people, all we know about is the jungle and all that. I told you in the beginning, I said it's a very crude example that he gave. But let's peel away some of the things here. We have actually been saying something very similar. And we've been doing video after video after video on this very topic and talking about how this system has basically created a measuring, whatever you want to call it, to decide who is intelligent versus who isn't. And we've been talking about the intelligence, for example, of your grandmother and the amount of mathematics that she uses just in the kitchen. And she's not even necessarily thinking about it, but she just instinctively knows measurement. She instinctively knows temperature. She instinctively knows all these other things that are required for her to make them buttermilk biscuits. You know what I'm saying? And so all of that is internalized. It's It's internalized basically mathematics. Our body just instinctively knows some of these things. Like I said again, just get away from the whole jungle thing and all of that. And when it comes to, we talked about athletics, we talked about musicians, we've talked about all of that. That is intelligence. That's what intelligence looks like when we're talking about black people in general. When it comes to music and all of that, that is an expressed intelligence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because why? Because we tend to embody what we know. When we're learning something, we embody it. You understand? And this is something that I've been talking about for a very, very long time. So I just thought that was really interesting. And I was looking at some of the comments on social media and I saw how people were quickly going to offense. And I understood that. But I also understood too that there is a point here that I want people to make sure they're not missing because what he's saying isn't necessarily false. There's a lot of truth to that. Now, that's not to say that, okay, that means we need to listen to more Jeffrey Epstein and get some more truth and all of that. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just simply pointing out that sometimes things can be confirmed from the most interesting sources because that is something that we've been talking about. We've been talking about that and how we need to really begin to look at ourselves through that lens. When we think about the IQ scale, for example, we didn't develop that. If you were to look at the IQ scale that's used all over the world, if you was to look at that, they will show Africa, rather, they will show Europe, they will show all these other countries that have tend to have a very high IQ. But when they get to the entire continent of Africa, well, you know the story on that. The IQ is going to be very low. And does that mean that we're less intelligent? No, it doesn't. So I want you to really keep that in mind too, is that intelligence is something, it isn't something that um, oftentimes can be measured. Not really. When you think about it, when we look at, like for example, when you look at some of these drug dealers or whatever, man, look at these dummies out here. Why are they doing that? Now they may be off in some of their decision making, but these are entrepreneurs. These are financiers. They know understand marketing. That's intelligence. Like I said again, now it may be off a little bit, but they have an intelligence. Well, we're talking drug dealers. Well, let's bring it into something a little more palatable. Someone that can walk into a house and feel overwhelmed because there's so much junk everywhere. Oh my goodness, how am I going to clean all this stuff up? And so they're trying to figure it out and they just get overwhelmed until the point till they just shut down. Well, you get somebody else to come in and they're like, oh, okay, well, let me figure this out. And in 2 hours, have your entire house not only clean, but they have all kinds, they bring a high level of organization where you don't even have that problem anymore. That's an intelligence. I mean, we can go on and on with this. So I want people to begin to see that intelligence isn't necessarily something that falls in line in ones or zeros like in this system. Intelligence is something that we all have been born with. We've all been born with intelligence. Why? Because your consciousness really is what's plugged into nature. That's where your intelligence comes from. It's not how much you can store in your brain. You remember, we talked about recently how the brain is basically a receiver for your intelligence. I mean, for your consciousness. Your consciousness does not reside in your brain. Your brain just really picks up your consciousness. That's what it does. And your body just simply falls in line. Now, that leads me to a story and be a little bit transparent here. Um, Let me just kind of word it this way, and hopefully you guys can still hear me. But let me just kind of word it this way. You know, life has a way of always teaching you some great lessons. It does. And when we come out of those lessons, we come out with some really fascinating stories. Well, right now, I'm going to tell you right now, life is working on a great story for us right now. And I say us, I'm talking about my wife and I. And My son is pulling off from his motorcycle. That motorcycle you hear in the back, that's my son. Anyway, he's gone now. How can I say this? Life is certainly has us in an intense course. That's probably the best way I can put it. And it has have you daily looking at yourself in the mirror, encouraging yourself, the whole nine. I mean, just whatever, going on long walks, whatever. And you're trying to figure out what the heck is even going on. What's going on? Now, one day like I said, we're like in the middle of the book right now. That's probably the best way I can put it. But this story is going to come to an end, you know. But the best way I can describe it, it's like it's really something else. That's the only way I could describe it. Um, and so anyway, it had me, I be like I told you, every day make sure you're doing your breathing exercises. And doing my breathing exercises, that's when it calms me, it centers me, it gets me in a place where I can actually hear the real me. And recently, when I was doing these breathing exercises, and make sure y'all hit a one on the comment. If y'all can hit a one on the stream, I want to make sure you can still hear me. But I'm just gonna keep talking. And if worse come to worse, I'll just refilm this whole thing and upload it. I mean, if I got to do that, so be it. Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. Okay. And so I was just sitting there like, when things like that happen, when things are happening and they seem like they're happening all at once, it has a way of disorienting you at times. Like you're not always, it's one thing to sit up here and be like, okay, I got it, I know it, and you straight and all of that. But it's another thing when it's like you're gonna hit times where it's just like, what the heck what's going on? What am I doing? And I know it sounds like I'm talking in circles. I'm getting to it. And so I asked myself that. I literally said this out of my mouth. I said, when was the last time I can honestly say that I was really happy? And I said this. I said this out of my mouth. I said, when was the last time I could say I was really happy? And I started going through my life at different things that's happened. And I was going through, when I got married, I was going through that. And I've shared on other platforms, we talked about how it was a happy day. It was a wonderful day. But during that same time, we were dealing with multiple parents that were at the last part of their lives. They were basically within months, they were dying. We bought a business. It was like a bunch of stuff that was going on. It was a bunch of stuff all at the same time. And, but, you know, I was happy because I found someone I can live with the rest of my life, and I still am. So, but there was like a lot of this stuff happening all at the same time. All these things that I would consider crazy. Um, then, of course, what's another happy event that most of us go through, that are parents or you've had children, is, the birth of your children. Both of those times were very happy times. Experiencing, seeing the birth of your children, watching them grow, those are happy times. Another happy time for me was when we finally were able to relocate from the East Coast to the West Coast to California. But even with that, there was a lot of stuff that was going on that we had to fight and get through. It wasn't an easy transition at all. It really wasn't. I would say even moving out here, it was the same thing. Moving here to Arizona, same thing. But there's a lot, and there's a lot more I could tell you in those stories. That's something I probably put in our book one day. But In that moment, I was actually focused on, I was saying to myself how I was like, okay, I just said this. I said, when was the last time I've actually been happy? And then I said, and then I also said, I don't know if I've ever been happy. I said that to myself out loud. And then I want to make sure my audio's right. Okay. And so, and I'm going to look at your comments too. And so then I stopped myself and I was like, wait a minute. I'm actually focusing on just all the bad stuff. I'm not necessarily focused on the good stuff. Because another thing I said out of my mouth was, I was like, when good things happen, it's like I'm happy. But in the back of my mind, I always think, well, something else is coming up. I better enjoy it now because the bad is about to happen. And so for me, I never have allowed myself to fully enjoy the good times. I've always just, I enjoy it, but in the back of my mind, it's like I always am thinking, I better enjoy it now because the storm is coming. Especially when it's something that's like really good, like really, really good, like a good event that happens. And I'm just like, yes, it could be, I could have so much joy, but then it's like, I'll sit back and be like, as good as this is, pff, I know whatever's coming next, yeah, it's going to be, I know it's going to be a doozy. And so it was at that moment I realized what was happening. And then this all took place, like I said, just recently. I was doing my breathing exercises. I was hearing myself through all of this. It was during the breathing exercises and it was afterwards too. And then I realized, and it brought me right back to what we have been talking about, is our nervous system and how our nervous system is how we through the years or whatever have trained our nervous system to think that way, to always be thinking about the negative, worrying about, you can never enjoy the good. And so it brought me to what you see around me, these trees. And I was thinking about these trees and I was like, nature itself goes through seasons all the time. It goes through seasons of growth that you can see. It goes through seasons of growth where where you don't see the growth. You may go up to a tree and you be like, wait a minute, I did all this work and it's only giving me two pieces of fruit. And you mad at the tree, not realizing that in that season, it spent that entire season getting its roots even deeper so that the following season that comes up, you're going to get many fruit, many pieces of fruit. But see, we don't see that. And so, but there's times where there's the tree, it just don't seem like it's growing at all. And sometimes it may seem like it's going even backwards. I was thinking about, when I was thinking through all this, I was thinking about times where my mom, she would pick up what you call it. She would go to like the Walmart or some of these stores, and they're giving away plants. Basically, it's like at this reduced cost because they're like, man, listen, this plant is about to die anyway, there's no hope. But my mom, she'll pick it up. She was like, man, they wanted 50 cents for it, I'll take it. And she'll get the plant, and she's like, I did everything I could, but I don't know, we'll see. And then the next thing I know, she's texting me pictures. She's like, Dwayne, you remember that plant I picked up? Look at it. Look what it looks like now. And the thing's like a huge, it had grown exponentially. Like it just blew up. And and I remembered all of that. I was thinking about all of that and I was like, wow, I said, that's exactly how we are. And so what happens is as people, and I'm gonna say particularly as black folks, our culture particularly, we have trained ourselves and this partially is because of the system that we're in, but we have replicated on our own. And what we have done is basically have trained ourselves to only look forward to things that are negative, the bad. Well, I know this ain't going to work out. I know that ain't going to happen. I mean, yeah, this is all good now. Enjoy the day because tomorrow is this, that. And we tell ourselves that all the time. And what you're doing is that you are literally imprinting your nervous system to never enjoy the good times. We are never, what, name me a fruit tree that's going to be 9 foot tall and is going to have fruit on it all the time. You'll never see that in nature. You'll never see a fruit tree that's going to have fruit on it all the time, every season, in and out, and it's going to be taller and taller and taller every time you blink your eye. You'll never see that. But what you will see is the tree going through seasons. You're going to see it losing leaves. Sometimes the tree is going to catch a disease, but then it'll heal itself. But all the time, as long as it's getting its basics, as long as it's rooted in, it's growing. You may not see the growth, but it's growing. And so, what's the moral of all of that? This story. The moral of the story is this: is why this is so important for us. And I talked about this in a video we did recently. Making sure that on a regular basis you are constantly resetting your baseline. And how do you do that? Through your breathing exercises. How do you do that? Immersing yourself in silence. How do you do that? Separating yourself from the negative stuff. How do you do that? Sitting out in some good sunlight. Those are ways that you return your body to that baseline, and you're resetting your nervous system so that you 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 are plugged into nature, and you realize, hey, listen, there are going to be some seasons. We're going to go through seasons. It's just what it is. Seasons are natural. That is a natural process of growth. Seasons, growth and seasons come hand in hand. And I'm telling myself that as well. You cannot have growth unless you're going through seasons. And so that's why it is imperative for us to be doing these basic things. So here at Samba Tree, that's why we talk about the things we talk about as far as like your health and your wellness. It's not just capsules. It's not just teas. It's not just powders and oils. It's not just that. It's a combination of all of those things. But at the same time, it starts with the basics, your willingness to see, I have to break these cycles. I can't continue on with this mindset where I'm in this system and this system don't like black people. So therefore, this is how it's going to be or whatever. Yeah, the system's going to have some limits, but it doesn't stop a plant from growing. It's still going to grow. You're still going to grow. You understand? And so that is my encouragement to you as I am realistically right now, as I'm talking to you, I am encouraging myself. But I will say this story that is working out right now, it's going to be a really an interesting one. And I think you're going to learn a lot more about us, like what we do, as far as Nicole and I. You're going to learn a lot more about us, and, you know, just our determination. You're going to learn, you're going to see a lot. And so I'm looking forward to that. We're like halfway through whatever, but we're getting there, but we're fine. And, but I'm just wanted to share that because in the middle of this, that's kind of where, you learn it. You know what I don't like? I don't like a lot of times when you hear people after they've gone through something, then they'll tell you, I kind of like telling you while I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? And because as you're going through it, it encourages you and you hold yourself accountable. Listen, I can't stop, won't stop.
You know what I mean? And it just serves as a reminder. You know what I mean? That growth is seasonal. It is. And you're going to have your days where it seems like everything's visual. You're just going up, 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 up. And it's going to be sometimes where it may not be up growth like that, where it's visual and you can clearly see it. There's going to be days where you're not going to see anything, but the roots are still getting deeper. You know what I'm saying? And so that is my encouragement to y'all who are watching this, that just stay in there. Stay in there. All right. Let me check to see if I can see any comments. Anybody leave any comments or anything. And then, or if you have any input or whatever that you would like to give, put it in the chat. And then we're going to move to the last part of our broadcast, which is the giveaway. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to start over here on Samba Tree and see, because I saw someone write a comment here. Hold on for a second. Someone said my daughter and I were discussing some of the same. I think you're trying to say same thoughts. When we were last happiest. Someone else said Todd. He said was 2025. Yeah, was a crazy enough year for me. I just now finding some balance of happiness now. Embrace the ever present moments as it comes. Future is yet to be revealed. Very good points. Thank you, Todd, for sharing that. Really appreciate that. And then I'm over here on Samba Tree, and someone said that the sound isn't good over on Samba Tree, on Samba Journey. So I'll just fix that, and then we'll figure that out. Okay. So, but yeah, really appreciate you guys' input. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the last part. Okay, so this right here, I'm not going to even tell you. I'm not going to even tell you what the gift is. But what we're going to do, the way we're going to do is this. I am going to be looking at both of my screens here. I'm going to look at both of my screens here, and I want to see what we're going to do is, let's see. You're going to type in the word tree. Let's type in the word tree. And I am going to do a 20 count going backwards. All right. And then I'm going to close my eyes. And then the first name I see, you will be the winner. Okay. So I'm going to count. So you're going to type in the word tree. You can start typing it now. And I'm going to count, do a 20 count going backwards. And then at the end, I'm going to take a look in the chat. And the first name that I see, you're going to be the winner. And I'm going to tell you what you can win. So you could do it here. You could do it on the other platform. Um, so anyway, let's go. So 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause because of the delay and pause. All right, let me see. I don't know who it's going to be, but the first name I see, you won. It is, I just saw you, Deborah Jefferson. Deborah Jefferson, you won. Deborah Jefferson. Guess what? You didn't win anything. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm playing. Okay, Deborah Jefferson, you won. Guess what you won? A $35 gift card at Samba Tree. So what I need you to do, honey, is make sure you email us at care@sambatree.com. Care@sambatree.com. Make sure you email us your first and last name, which you already get, but give it to us anyway. Let us know that you are, I just was on the live and Dwayne told me to email you, and there you go. All right. So congratulations, Deborah. Really appreciate it. Thank you, and thank for all of you guys. Really appreciate it. We're gonna get this technical stuff squared away. What I'm gonna do is on my other platform, I'm probably I'm gonna listen to it and see what the audio sounds like. But more than likely, I'll probably just delete it there, which is fine. And then we'll just go with that, okay? But thank you guys for joining us for this beautiful broadcast out here in this wonderful sun. We are in the 70 degrees out here in sunny Arizona, and it's a nice day out. And I'm gonna get in and get me something to drink, something to eat, and get on with the rest of the day. So again, thank you so much, you guys. You guys take care, and we'll be talking again soon. Take care. Remember, the website again is sambatree.com. Save 15% off. We got a 15% promo going on now on those capsules. Make sure you jump on that, because that is something we need to be taking every day. Take those capsules. And then we got that bamboo oil, 30% off. Website again is sambatree.com. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.